if you want to grab a journal or notebook, just something to write in, because part of the exercise with the meditation later will be a little bit of a journaling exercise. Hello and happy Friday. It's so great to be with you all on another Friday afternoon. My name is Perryn. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm a psychotherapist with Nourish Your Mind integrative mental health practice in Orange County, New York. And just once again, so grateful to be gathering together and doing this meditation together during a time where it's been difficult to connect. So I'm just very appreciative to be able to do it virtually and to offer this and to gather here. So as we've done in the previous weeks, we do a 4-part type of session. So I'll just start out by talking a little bit about a concept related to mindfulness, and then we're going to move into a breathing exercise together, followed by a brief body scan, body relaxation exercise, and then we'll move into our guided meditation. So as I've done in previous weeks, I've kind of started out by asking everybody just to share something. So in previous weeks, I had folks share things that they were grateful for, or things that they were going to do to take care of themselves, right? Practice self-care. So I was thinking this week, because our theme today will be around acceptance and self-compassion, that if you feel comfortable, if you'd like, just share in the chat section something that you feel grateful for about, yourself, something that you're thankful for, that you feel good about yourself for. So it could be maybe something you've done over the last few weeks to help somebody, or it could be something, just a characteristic about yourself that you feel good about, that you are thankful for. And I know this is a tough one, right? It's tough for us a lot of the times to share things that we feel good about ourselves, positive self-attributes. But I ask anybody that feels comfortable, just in that chat section, just share with us, what do you feel good about yourself for? And I'll just start with myself, that I'm really grateful that I have worked up the courage to get in front of the camera every week and do these meditations and, have them recorded. It's been a really big growth experience for me, being vulnerable, being seen, just working through that, all the self-criticism of, what I look like, what I sound like, and just showing up as my authentic self, to be able to offer this to the community and to gather with beautiful people like you. So I'm grateful to myself that I'm doing this, that I'm facilitating and providing this space. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from any brave souls here, something you're grateful for yourself, something that you appreciate about yourself, that you feel good about who you are, about something you've done. Maybe you've stepped outside of your comfort zone at some point recently or in the past. But anybody that wants to share. All right. Oh, yay. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. So this week, I chose the attitude of acceptance. Each week, I've been choosing one of Jon Kabat-Zinn's 7 attitudes of mindfulness practice, and I chose acceptance. So Jon Kabat-Zinn says, acceptance means seeing things as they are in the present. It's a stage that often we don't get to until after some emotion-filled periods, sometimes anger, denial, sadness, but there's stages in the natural progression of healing. And he says that it doesn't mean, so to be in acceptance doesn't mean that we have to like everything, right? Or be passive or resigned to abandon our principles, but it means coming around to a willingness to see things as they really are. And it's really about turning inward toward our experience from a moment to a moment perspective, without judgment, so we can truly see what's occurring and actively respond in a meaningful and balanced manner. And it reminds me of in dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT, dialectics are described as this understanding and resolving of tensions, of these tensions that can seem contradictory. And one of the big dialectics is acceptance and personal change, making personal change, because we might think of those two things as a tension, right, or a contradiction. Accepting ourselves for who we are and engaging in a change process. But it's all about bringing balance and synthesizing those two opposing concepts, right? Because often self-acceptance is the prerequisite to making change in our life, and is change, right? A lot of times we have to come into a greater place of self-acceptance to embark on a change journey. So I thought that was really important to bring up. And also in terms of acceptance, I think about this story. It's called The Second Arrow. And so it's a Buddhist story or parable where the Buddha asks a student, does getting hit by an arrow hurt? And the student says yes. And so the Buddha then asks, does getting hit by a second arrow hurt? And the student says yes. And then, so the Buddha says, well, we can't always control the first arrow, but it's that second arrow where the possibility of choice comes in. So, and also it relates to the story of two warriors, both getting hit by an arrow. And there's a newer warrior, kind of an unexperienced one, and one that's more experienced. The one that's experienced gets hit by the arrow and has more of a neutral objective perspective about it, and kind of responds and says, okay, I'm going to take care of this wound. I'm going to attend to this wound, right? That's the first kind of instinct. And the other warrior, the one that's less experienced, starts wrapping up in this story about, oh my goodness, I'm a bad warrior. I don't know what I'm doing. I made a mistake. I failed. I messed up, right? And that's the second arrow. And so many of us can relate to that, right? We might get hurt, we might get rejected by somebody. And then all of that self-blame, that self-doubt, that anger, right? That inward battle that we fight, that's the second arrows that we're shooting towards ourselves that cause more of the pain and suffering. So it's this process of learning to be mindful, right? Recognizing where are we in our lives, adding more suffering, where are we shooting ourselves with those second arrows, and then bringing in that compassion, that kindness. So looking at it as if from the lens of our best friend or somebody that loves us very much, what would they say or how would they act to reassure and comfort us, right? And taking that perspective towards ourselves, right? Of how can we accept what's happened and be gentler with ourselves. So I hope those little stories, that concept was helpful for you. And in a little while, when we move into our guided meditation, it will be focused around bringing in more self-compassion, which is something that, is really, I think, one of life's most important work is working on creating more love and compassion towards ourselves. All right, so let's move into our breathing practice today. And today we're going to practice the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And this is promoted by Dr. Andrew Weil, who's an integrative medical practitioner. And all we have to do is, we're first going to start out by exhaling through our mouth fully. And then we're going to breathe in the 4-7-8 pattern. So inhaling through our nose for 4 seconds, holding the breath for 7 seconds, and exhaling through our mouth for 8 seconds. Inhaling for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling for 8. And this particular technique has been shown to really have a soothing effect on our nervous system. It really has a calming, relaxing effect on our whole body, on our whole system. So it's recommended not to practice it for more than 4 breaths at a time, especially when starting out. And it's recommended to do it 2 times a day. And if that 4-7-8 breathing pattern, doesn't feel good, like maybe, it feels uncomfortable to you to breathe in for that, length of time, or breathe out for that length of time, you can adjust it. But the most important thing is trying to elongate the exhale, trying to make the exhale about double the length of the inhale. That's kind of the key. So let's practice together. Let's get comfy. So wherever you may be sitting on the floor on a pillow like me, or you may be on your couch or in a chair. Maybe you're lying down, and that's okay too. But just finding comfort in your body, finding a kind of a grounded position. So we'll start by breathing out, by fully taking a nice full exhale through our mouth. And then we're going to breathe in through our nose. Inhale for 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale through the mouth, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale, once again, inhale, hold, and exhale. And then just bringing your breath back to its natural rhythm, its natural flow. And just noticing if you feel a little bit more settled, a little bit more centered and grounded. All right, wonderful. So now we're going to do the body scan. And really all that consists of is going through our entire body from head to toes and just bringing our awareness to each part of our body, noticing if we're holding that part of the body tight or tense, and just seeing if we can use our imagination or using our breath and softening, releasing, loosening up that part of the body. Okay, so we'll start with our head. The top of our head and our face, our facial muscles, tuning into the head and the face, and just noticing, are we holding our face tight, our head tight? Are we scrunching up our face? Just relaxing the head and face. Relaxing the head and face. Moving into the jaw. The jaw, which I always say, so many of us hold a lot of tension. We may clench our jaw when we're stressed out without realizing it. So seeing if you can loosen that jaw, maybe giving it a little rub like I just did. And the neck, feeling if the neck is tight, tense, giving it a little gentle movement, side to side, a little circling if you'd like. It's all about moving in whatever way your body wants to move. Our shoulders, are we holding them up tight like that? Can we soften them and bring them down? Do we need to give them a little roll, little shake? Moving into the chest, and seeing if we're holding some tension or tightness in our chest. Seeing if we can use our intention, our breath, to soften that chest area. Down to our belly. Noticing if we're holding our belly, our stomach muscles tight. Are we sucking in? Many of us don't realize we're doing it, or we might do it sometimes very intentionally, right? But just letting the belly kind of be loose and kind of just letting it hang out, right? Letting it be soft. Letting that belly be soft, breathing in, taking a nice belly breath. And then going down our arms, loosening our arms, letting our arms, our hands, our fingers hang loose by our sides. Into the hips, giving our hips a little rock, a little sway, loosening up those hips. Moving down into our thighs. Do we feel any tightness in our thighs? Can we use our breath and our intention to soften those thighs? And knees. Softening the knees. Again, if your body feels like moving, gently move it in whatever way it wishes. And then going down to our calves. Breathing into our calves, loosening our calf muscles. Down to our ankles, our feet and our toes. Giving our feet a little flex, our toes a little wiggle, softening those feet and toes. And then just feeling your whole body just kind of melt a little bit, soften a little bit, release a little bit. Okay, wonderful. Good job, everybody. So now we're going to move into the guided meditation portion. So I hope you're a little bit more relaxed from the breathing exercise and the body scan. I'm going to put up an image on the screen while I read the guided meditation. So as I always say, if you're the kind of person that prefers your eyes open during the meditation, you can have the visual image on the screen, something to focus your eyes on if you'd like. Or, you can close your eyes. It can be more powerful to turn your attention inward as well, but whatever feels best to you. And as I said at the very beginning, there will be a little journaling exercise or some journaling prompts. So if you'd like, if it's something you wish to do, you can do a little bit of writing at the end. All right, so everybody get comfy, settle in a little deeper. So this meditation is called Giving Yourself Compassion for a Difficult Situation. Sometimes when difficult situations arise, we might become stressed, we might become harsh on ourselves. So this meditation really guides us to practice some self-compassion in the face of these personal challenges. So let's begin by just taking this moment to settle our body. If your eyes are still open, you may choose to close them. Allowing your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften if you're sitting up. If you prefer to lie down, that's okay as well. Now, once again, taking a full breath in full but gentle breath in, and a long, slow breath out. Deep, gentle, cleansing breaths. Now, I'm going to invite you to think of a situation in your life right now that might be difficult for you. Maybe you're feeling a little stressed. Maybe you're worried about something happening. Or perhaps there's tension in one of your relationships. This practice will only be for a few minutes, so try to choose something that isn't too difficult for you. But bring this challenging situation to your mind. What happened, or what do you think might happen? Now that you're holding this in your mind, I invite you to consider these things. First, simply acknowledge that this is a difficult situation for you. Find the language that works for you to label what it is that's happening right now. Perhaps this is a really tough situation. Maybe I feel a little afraid about this. Just bring mindful awareness to what's happening right now. Next, acknowledge that difficulty is a part of life. It's something you've experienced before, and everyone around you has also experienced before as well. Remind yourself of our common humanity, that difficulty is a part of our experience, and like everything else, it too will shift. Finally, I invite you to say to yourself, inside your own mind, may I be kind to myself in this moment. May I be loving to myself in this moment. Acknowledge that no matter how hard the situation is, you can still be kind and loving to yourself. Use any language you'd like that supports the sense of kindness and love. Perhaps choose wording you would offer to a friend going through something similar. I'm here for you. It's going to be okay. You are loved. And if you like, you may rest your hand on your heart, offering deep kindness and love to yourself. Taking a moment to take in, to receive that kindness and love. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And now, with that recognition of love and compassion for yourself, just finish with a full, gentle, deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. And while you're in this space, gently reorient yourself to your body in your seat. Feel the points of contact between your body and your seat. Gently wiggle your toes and fingers, or take a little stretch if you'd like. But try to remain in this relaxed state. And if you wish, you can grab your journal, your notebook, piece of paper beside you, and take a minute or two to answer these questions, finish these prompts, and reflect on them. So the first one is areas of my life where I can be more forgiving are. Areas of my life where I can be more forgiving are. And the second one is, if I were more forgiving of these areas, it would allow me to blank. If I were more forgiving of these areas, it would allow me to blank. So you can take a moment and you could do a little writing, reflecting, or you can save that for after you log off the Zoom, whichever you prefer. All right. So I hope that was helpful for everybody. And as I was saying, I always love to get any thoughts or feedback or anything that you want to share about your experience with this whole process or the meditation. So if you'd like, if you feel comfortable, even if you just want to leave a word or two in the chat, right? And it can be positive or negative or neutral, right? No judgment. Whatever you want to share about what that was like for you, I'd love to have you share with me. So for me, one area that I can be more forgiving about is the way I look and sound on the camera, as I mentioned earlier, right? This practice of, releasing some of that self-judgment, that criticism. It's just letting that go, right? Letting all of those little voices that say, oh, you sound weird, or you don't look, the way you want to look, all those superficial kind of judgments, those little voices, letting them go. So that was my vulnerable sharing with you all. Thank you for allowing me to do so. Okay, well, once again, everybody, thank you for joining me. It was such an honor as always, and a real privilege to be able to be here and facilitate this. And I hope it was helpful for you. And as I always remind you, reach out for support, reach out to Nourish. If you ever need that support, reach out to Nourish, reach out to people that you trust, that you love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your energy. I'm so grateful for you. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week ahead. And take care, everybody.